Hi everyone! Today's sequence will focus on forward bends. These poses will stretch the back of your body, especially the backs of your legs and the back itself. And when we stretch the spine, we are stretching the spinal cord, which makes these poses very calming and soothing for the nervous system. So I figured they're probably a good poses to be practicing with everything going on right now. So today we will start in virasana, hero's pose. So you may need to have some things nearby, maybe a block or two, something to sit on. If you prefer blankets, that's fine too. And then probably a belt will be necessary as well. Okay, so to show you virasana, hero's pose, I've got a block to sit on here. It's going to go in between my ankles. And I want the knees to point straight ahead, the feet to point straight back, and then I can have a seat on that block. Use the block at whatever height you need it to. This pose should not cause any pain in the knees. And then just take some time to adjust well so you feel like you're sitting evenly. And then go ahead and roll the shoulders back and open across your chest. And then we'll bring the hands together in front of your heart, heel the hands at the base of the sternum, and we'll just take some time to set her in. So close your eyes. Feeling centered here, left and right, front and back. Now as you find that centered place, consciously ground your hips and thighs downward. Keep lifting your spine upward. And as you create more space through the front of the body, notice your breathing here. So easy inhalations and easy exhalations. Helping your mind to focus and prepare for yoga practice. Now maintaining the lift of your chest, bow your head, chin towards your chest. And release your hands to your thighs. Next inhalation, bring your head to center. And open your eyes. Let's stretch your arms. So interlace your fingers. We'll turn the palms to face out. And as you stretch your arms, relax your shoulders down. Drop weight through the hips. Inhale the arms up. Straight elbows, best of your ability. So squeeze the upper arms in towards your ears. Push through the heel of the hands, the fingers side to, and lengthen. Lengthen the sides of your body completely. Keep the lift, release your arms. Let's try behind the back, interlacing there. Roll your shoulders back, open across your chest. Take an easy breath here. Good, let's release. We'll come back in front, change the interlace. So other first fingers on top. Again, palms face out. Relax your shoulders, heavy through the hips, and let's inhale, take the arms back up. Again, looking for length. So as the thighs release down, lift your waist, ribs, chest, stretch the arms fully. Keep the lift, release the arms. One more time behind the back, unfamiliar clasping. And again, roll the shoulders back, open across your chest, and take an easy breath here. Let's release. We'll take a side stretch next. So inhale, take the right arm up, left hand's on the floor. And as you exhale, we're going to bend gently towards the side. Now keep the right hip really heavy down into the floor, but use the arm and pull the rib cage away from the hip. Let's release. We'll do side two. So left arm is up. Again, descend the left hip down as you stretch and open through the left side of your body. Good, and let's release. Now we're going to take a twist. If you're sitting up high, you might need something to rest your hand on behind you. So when you're ready, let's twist to your right. Inhale, lift upwards, and as you exhale, we're going to rotate. Work your way up the body through the rib cage turn. And up around the shoulders, upper back turn. Next breath, inhale, lift up, and exhale, release the twist. Changing sides. Again, lengthen when you inhale. Turn as you exhale. Up the body through the ribs, turn. And then use the arms to turn the upper back and shoulders. Good. And then let's release. Now let's do Gomukhasana, cow face pose. This is a pose in which your hands are supposed to touch each other behind the back. And if you're a little tighter in the shoulders, you may want to have the belt. You can just throw it over your right shoulder so you have something to hang on to. Okay? So inhale, take your right arm up, stretch the whole right side of the body. We're going to grab a hold of the upper arm and rotate so the palm faces back. Keep the rotation, but bend your elbow, and then see if you can try to get that elbow to go higher up towards the ceiling as the hand goes further down the back. When you're ready for it, left arm's out to the side, thumb is down. We're going to swing the arm behind the back. Hopefully you can hang onto your fingers, and if not, we'll hold the belt. Now, once you have a clasping, see if you can bring your head back in line. Stretch your right elbow up and in, left shoulder moves back. You want to try to spread this whole collarbone from the center of the chest out towards the shoulder, opening up the chest as you stretch the right elbow upwards. Easy breath here. Good, let's release. Now to change sides, if you're using the belt, put it on the other shoulder. And let's inhale, take the left arm up, stretch the left side, grab hold of the upper arm, we're going to rotate so the palm faces back. Keep the rotation, bend your elbow, and again, try to get the elbow to go higher up as the hand goes further down the back. When you're ready for it, right arm's out to the side, thumb is down, we'll swing the arm behind the back. Again, hopefully holding onto fingers, and if not, use the belt. Head back in line, left elbow up and in, right shoulder elbow back. If you have the hands clasped, press them into the spine, open and lift your chest. If the hands are on the belt, walk them towards each other. Take an easy breath here. Good, and let's release. Now let's move to hands and knees. We'll do cat, cow, puppy pose, and some dog pose to keep warming up the body. So we'll bring the hands right underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath the hips like a tabletop. We'll take a breath in. As you exhale, tuck your head, tuck your tail, round your back. And then as you inhale, release. Head and tail come back up, spine goes down. We'll go back and forth a couple times, so rounding as you exhale the air out, releasing as you inhale. Maybe one more. And to move to puppy pose, we'll curl the toes under, shift the hips back towards your heels, and then stretch the arms forward. Think about a lot of length in the spine here. So drop the spine deeper down into the body towards your chest. Let the chest come closer to the floor. Stretch the underside of the arm further forward. We'll take a little side stretch here. We'll walk both hands over to the right side. Pulling both hips back, but especially the left hip, reach forward through the left arm. Stretch your left side. Walk back to the center, hang out in the center for a breath. Feel if one side is longer. And then we'll walk the hands to the second side. Again, pulling both hips back, especially the right hip, reaching forward through the right arm. Easy breath. And then back towards center again. Both hips are back, both arms are forward, lengthening the body. From here, we'll lift a dog pose, start to warm up the legs. So make sure the hands are shoulder width apart, feet are hip width. Make sure the arms do external rotation, legs do internal rotation. And you might want to warm up the legs a little bit by walking in place. But think about lifting the front of the hip high, trying to push the weight back into the legs and out of the arms. Anytime you want to come down and rest, of course, do so. And then we'll move to our backs. So have a belt nearby because we are going to try to warm up the hamstring some. So once you're down on your back, we're going to start to bring knees in towards your chest. So you can choose to do one leg at a time or both together. It is your choice. But just loosen up the lower back a bit. So maybe a little bit of movement here, forward and back, side to side. Circles with the knees, something that feels good. Or maybe a little bit of happy baby, holding onto the feet or the ankles, pulling the knees down and towards the armpit. So something that feels good for you to stretch that lower back. We'll also do a little bit of the windshield wiper leg as well. So legs are bent, feet are on the floor, feet are wider apart. And then some movement side to side. Again, just trying to loosen up the back and the hips a bit. Of course, you're welcome to do the side stretch as well as you're doing the windshield wiper legs. Same side arm goes overhead that you're stretching the hip and back. But again, just as much or as little stretch that feels good for you today. Now, once the back feels a little bit looser, you'll walk your feet back into hip width, just comfortable. And I'm going to want you to do a little bit of pelvic tilting here. So you may want to put your hands on your hips so you can feel where you are in space. And you're going to rock your pelvis forward and back. So rocking the pelvis back, low back will press down into the floor. When you rock your pelvis forward, there's going to be some space underneath the lower back. So just a couple of times, you can feel the difference. Rocking back, abs tighten. Rocking forward, abs release. They become soft. Now, once I have a awareness about my range of motion forward and back, I want to see if I can find a neutral pelvis. So just making that movement in both directions a little smaller until I find where the pelvis feels in the middle, not rocked back, not rocked forward. And then I can feel the rest of my back against the floor where the ribs touch and up around the shoulder blades as well. Once I have an idea about neutral pelvis and spine, I'm going to go ahead and straighten out my legs into Supta Tadasana, reclined mountain pose. So I'm pressing out through the feet, engaging the quadricep muscles, trying to keep that pelvis in a neutral position. Arms will be about my sides. Upper arm, shoulder, I'd like to press all the way down into the floor to open the chest. But I may have to do a little bit of an abdominal contraction to keep the pelvis more neutral. I'm going to inhale, take the arms up and overhead, lengthening the sides of the body. Stretching from the hips into the heels, waist towards the fingers, lengthening out. All right, and let's release. Now we're going to need our belt or something to catch the foot. You don't have to have a yoga belt. Just about anything will do. A dog leash, except then the dog thinks she's going for a walk, or a towel would work as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bend one of the legs. Right leg is up first. And as I stretch the leg up, I'm engaging the quadricep to stretch the back of the thigh, the hamstring, which is what we're after today. When I feel comfortable with this, I'm going to stretch my other leg along the floor, pushing out through that heel ball of the foot as well. And my first reaction, of course, is to engage my abs and press my lower back into the floor, but I'd like to have neutral pelvis today. So I'm going to have to ease off the right leg a little bit, tilt my pelvis back to a neutral position. So now I have that little bit of space underneath my low back, abs are soft, and then keeping my left leg where it is, pelvis where it is, then I'm going to pull the leg in. And all of a sudden I have a very clear stretch through the back of the right leg. So breathe easily. We're going to see if we can warm up the legs a bit. Now I'm going to see if I can keep pulling the leg in towards me without tilting the pelvis too far back. But I'm going to open towards the right side, just until I feel where that stretch starts to move to the inner side of the back of the leg. I'm going to inhale, bring the leg back up. I want to do a little bit of external rotation. I'll rotate the whole leg out in the hip socket. Again, I'm going to try to keep the pelvis in neutral as I pull the leg in, and then I'm going to start to open towards the right side again. With that external rotation, it feels very different through the back of the leg. So breathe. Feel that difference. Now I'm going to inhale, bring the leg back up. I'm going to try a little bit of internal rotation. I don't have to do too much, but just a little bit of internal rotation. I'm going to again pull the leg in, feel what that's like. It stretches a different part of the leg. And then I'm going to bring the leg across my body a little bit and see what part of the back leg that stretches. And I'm going to come back up and go back to external rotation. I'm going to rotate the leg out again, still trying to pull the leg in. And with that external rotation, I'm going to come across the body a second time. And I'll let you discover how interesting this can be. Now we'll inhale, bring the leg back up, release the belt, arms overhead, and then stretch the right leg all the way down and out. Check in and see if the two sides feel different. And then we'll do side 2. So let's belt the left foot. Again, taking some time to feel here in the pelvis. My lower back is already pushed down into the floor. So I want to go ahead and ease off the left leg, be able to tilt the pelvis back to a neutral position, straightening the right leg, and then trying to keep that pelvis in a neutral position as I bring the leg in. So in other words, if I just pull on the leg, my lower back will push down into the floor again. So I want to, again, be conscious and aware. Lower back stays up off the floor, just in neutral, and I pull the leg in. So being able to differentiate the movement of the pelvis versus the movement of the leg. And it should give you a pretty clear stretch through the back of the thigh. Now again, I'm going to see if I can keep a neutral pelvis as I bring the leg in, opening towards the left side. And just feeling when it starts to change towards the inner side of the back of the leg. I'm going to inhale, bring the leg back up. I want to try the same thing with external rotation. I'm going to rotate the leg out. Again, pulling the leg in, trying to keep that pelvis in neutral as I open towards the left a second time. And again, with that external rotation, things might feel a little different. I'm going to inhale, bring the leg back up, or try a little bit of internal rotation. Again, we don't have to do too much, but just turning the leg in, pulling the leg towards me, and bringing the leg across changes where I feel that stretch in the leg. We'll come back up, go back to the external rotation, checking in with the pelvis again, making sure it's still in neutral. Keeping the external rotation, then we're going to start to, again, bring the leg across the body. All of these stretches should feel a little bit different. Hamstrings are a group of muscles. We want to try to stretch all of them. Good. I'm going to inhale, bring the leg back up. Release the belt, arms overhead. I got to stretch this left leg all the way down and out. And you can bring the knees back in toward your chest again. You could do the windshield wiper legs one more time, whatever feels good. And then when you're ready to come up, roll to your side and use your arms to help lift your body back up. Let's do a little bit more warm up with dog pose. We'll do a lunge. We're going to stretch your hamstrings a little bit more to get ready for the forward bends, and we'll also do a little bit of pigeon pose as well. Okay? Okay, let's start in dog pose. You might have a couple blocks nearby. You might have something for underneath the knee as you need it. And I'm going to go in through puppy pose, lifting up through the hips. Again, arms do external rotation, legs do internal rotation, toes in, heels out. And I'm trying to get a good lift up through the hips, stretching the backs of the legs as well. Now from here, we're going to move to lunge. So right foot forward, all the way to where your hands are. Left knee will be down. Again, have padding for the knee if you want it. We're going to take a moment, make sure that core is on, buttock is on, abs are tight, and we're bringing the hip forward and down to stretch the front of the hip. Once we feel comfortable, we can inhale, take the arms up and overhead. If you don't feel comfortable with that move, keep the arms down. Good, let's release. We're going to go back to the dog pose. Lifting up through both hips again, noticing the change through the front of the left hip, front of the right hip. And then side two. Left foot is forward, right knee is down. Again, take some time, feeling that you have some internal rotation in the back leg. Core on, so that means abs, buttocks tight, and we're bringing that hip forward and down to stretch the front of the hip. Again, keep the hands down, or inhale and take the arms up and overhead. Lifting up through the sides of the body, stretching the front of the hip. Let's release. Head back to your dog pose. Lifting up through the hips again. Plank, chaturanga, and cobra pose to warm up. So coming forward to plank, keep your elbows in tight as you lower down. Pressing the pelvis into the floor, shoulders are back, elbows are in to open across the chest. This is Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Release and head back to the dog pose. Lifting up high up on the hips again. From here, we're going to lunge again. So right foot forward, left knee's down. And again, we're going to think about, okay, hips are down, core's on. We're going to stretch up again and find that length. Second time should feel a little easier. And then release the arms. Now this is where you may need a couple blocks underneath the hands, because what we're going to do is try to keep the foot exactly where it is, but we're going to shift the pelvis back and try to straighten out that front leg. Okay, so again, hands can be on blocks, whatever height that you need them at. Or if you don't need them, that is fine too. But keep the whole foot on the floor if possible, and then see if you can pull the right thigh deeper into the hip. And what you're probably going to feel here is that your back is round. And I'm going to ask you to try to get a neutral pelvis again. That means you have to tilt the pelvis forward to get back to a neutral position. Couple easy breaths. You can feel how that right foot, big toe mound, does not want to stay down. Do what you can. Then we're going to come back onto the heel. Make sure the quadricep muscle is on, pulling the kneecap up. And again, trying to pull the thigh deeper back into the hip. Again, the back tends to round. So what you're going to want to do is try to tilt the pelvis forward, bring the sternum forward, and feel what that does to the hamstring. Now that we have more of a neutral pelvis, we can play around a little bit with external rotation, internal rotation to spread that stretch around through all of the hamstrings. Once you've had enough, we'll head back to your dog pose. Lifting up high up on the hips. You might feel a little lopsided right now, so we'll do side two. Left foot is forward. Again, right knee is down. Bringing the hip forward and down with a stable pelvis. We'll take the arms up and overhead as you're ready. Now we'll release. Again, you can have blocks for the hands or not, but keep your whole left foot on the floor as you try to straighten out that front leg. Again, the back will probably feel round. That pelvic tilting that we did earlier, we're trying to here tilt the pelvis forward to get back to a neutral position. So the back is more flat rather than so round. From here, we're going to come back under the heel. Make sure the quadricep muscle is on. Pull the thigh muscle back into the hip, and you can feel it. The back wants to round, but instead you're going to tilt the pelvis forward, open the chest forward, and feel what that does to the hamstrings. Again, a little bit of external rotation, a little bit of internal rotation can be fun. Remember that my idea of fun is not always your idea of fun, but you can explore what that does to the hamstrings. Okay, then we'll release and head back to the dog pose. Again, getting a good lift up through the hips, feeling the backs of the legs stretch. Might feel a little easier now. Again, we'll do plank and chaturanga. Elbows in as you lower down. Again, cobra pose. Pelvis into the floor, shoulders back, open the chest. Release and head back to the dog pose. We'll also do a little pigeon pose here as well. So bending the right leg, bringing the knee forward underneath the chest, setting it down. Again, try to align the outer side of the knee with the outer side of the hip. Do some internal rotation of the back leg. And come down off the wrist as you're ready. Think about pulling the whole right thigh bone from the knee back into the hip socket. Okay, let's go back to dog pose. Always go back to the knees first or head straight back. Either way is fine. Lifting up on the hips, feeling again what happened. What did pigeon pose do for the hips? And then, of course, second side. So bringing the left leg forward. Again, knee in line with the outer hip. Doing internal rotation of the back leg. Coming down off the wrist as you're ready. And then again, thinking about, okay, could I pull that whole left thigh bone from the knee back into the hip socket a bit? Okay, let's head back to dog pose. So let's see if this one can be a little better. So feeling that internal rotation, hips high, lengthening out the sides of the body by pushing with the arms and pulling with the legs. Feel free to come down and rest. Those of you who want one more plank and chaturanga, certainly take it. And then you rest when you're done. Let's do a few standing poses. Okay, let's do a few standing forward bends, and then we'll do a couple of seated forward bends as well. Okay, so just stand in Tadasana and find center here. So feet parallel, 10 toes ahead, leg muscles on. Shoulders are back, chest open, stretch your arms, stretch your legs. Inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Keep stretching from the hips to the heels and stretch from the waist to the fingers. Stretch the sides of your body completely here. Good, and let's release. We're going to do Parsvottanasana. It's an intense side stretch. Most of us feel an intense leg stretch. I hope you feel both. You might need to have a chair if the hamstrings are very tight. We could also use a couple of blocks. If you don't have anything at home, you could go and put the hands on the leg. That would totally work as well. Okay, so for mountain pose, I'm going to step my right foot forward and the left foot back. I'm going to take a moment here just to stand on the 2 feet and firm the legs. That back foot can turn anywhere from 30 to 70 degrees. You want to be able to turn the hips to face forward best of your ability, but keep the back heel on the floor. So I'm going to press the feet, and as I pull up on the thighs, I need to do a little bit of external rotation in the front leg and a little bit of internal rotation in the back leg to get those hips square to the front. Now again, legs firm, shoulders are back, chest is open. I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, pushing the hips back and bringing the spine forward. Hands can release down towards the chair, towards blocks, whatever you have available. And you want to feel here that the back is pretty much flat, not rounded, but flat. And then we want to do a little bit more of a forward tilt in the pelvis to try to make the back even more concave, if you will, trying to get back to that neutral pelvis. We'll take a couple easy breaths, moving the hips backward, outer right hip, inner left thigh back, chest forward. When I want out, I'm going to keep the legs nice and firm and use the legs to help myself back up. We'll change sides. So left foot is forward, right foot is back. Again, I want to take some time to feel steady on my 2 feet and turn the hips forward. Pressing the feet like mountain pose, contracting the thighs, and again, a little external rotation of the front leg, a little internal rotation of the back leg. Again, with the hands on the hips, inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, shift the hips back, bring the spine forward. Again, hands are down at whatever height you want to let them release down to, but you're trying to keep your back as flat as possible. Again, we're pulling the thighs back, outer left, inner right thigh back, chest, sternum forward. Feel what that does to your legs. To come out, again, press the weight to the heels, inhale, and bring the chest back up. You can step back to mountain pose. This time we're going to go a little bit further. So the first time I had you stay in the flat back position so you could feel what that turning of the pelvis does. This time we're going to get to go ahead and round the back at the end. Right? So again, right foot is forward, left foot is back. Pressing the feet, firming the legs, turning the hips forward, all the same things. Again, from this position, hands on the hips, open across the chest, inhale. As you exhale, shift the hips back, bring the spine forward. This is where we were a few moments ago, pressing down into the feet. That big toe mound needs to stay down. Back outer heel also needs to stay down. And I'm going to pull the outer right hip back, inner left thigh back, chest forward. Then I'm going to see if I can continue on with the hips back and the spine forward, lengthening out the body. And maybe I won't need those blocks anymore as I keep pulling the thighs back, bringing the spine forward. And at the very end, when there's no more to be had, I can round all the way down. When I want up, I'll go back to a flat back position. Use the legs to bring the body back up. Let's change sides. So left foot is forward, right foot is back. Again, I'll press the feet, firm the legs, and turn the hips. With the hands on the hips, open across the chest, inhale. As you exhale, push the hips back. Again, hands are coming down towards the prop. Take some time to make sure that front big toe mound is going to stay down. Back outer heel. Again, I'm going to pull the outer left hip back, inner right thigh back to keep the pelvis level. And then I'm going to try to tilt the pelvis more forward to make the back more concave or flat. Then I'm going to keep going. Hips go back, spine goes forward. I'm trying to lengthen the front of my body forward as I pull the hips back. Again, use the props as you wish, releasing all the way down when you're ready. Release the head, release the neck, couple easy breaths. To come up, again, back to that flat back position. Weight to the back leg as you inhale back up. And then again, stand in mountain pose. We'll inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Good length out of the sides again. And then I'll release. We're also going to do Uttanasana, standing forward bend. I'm going to see if I can have enough space here to put my blocks back up. Feet about hip width apart. Toes in and heels out. A little internal rotation. Firm the legs, hands on the hips. It's the same thing. I'm going to inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to move the hips back through space and bring the spine forward. Again, hands are going to rest down on whatever prop that you have. And then again, I'm going to keep pulling the thigh muscles upward. I'm going to see if I can move the inner thighs back and the outer hips back and watch my spine. I'm going to see if I can tilt the pelvis further forward. Okay. Again, use the props as you wish. Seeing about pulling the thighs further back, stretching the spine forward, trying to lengthen the sides of the body forward as much as possible as the hips go back. When there's no more lengthening to be had, you get to fold all the way down. Release the head, release the neck, couple easy breaths. To come out, go back to the halfway point with a flat back. Use the legs, inhale, and up you come. Now we'll try a couple of seated forward bends. Okay, let's do a few seated poses as well. So we'll start in Dandasana staff pose. So sit on a little bit of height. You'll want to reach back and move butt flush out of the way so you can sit on the sit bones, front edge. Press through the heels, the balls of the feet, and firm your thighs. You can use the hands by your sides, full palms or fingertips, and lift the sides of the body upwards. This is just like Tadasana, mountain pose, but this is Dandasana, staff pose. Keep the legs nice and firm. Let's inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Stretch the sides of the body completely. And let's release. Now let's try a little bit of Janu Shirshasana. This is head to knee pose. You're going to go ahead and bend your left leg back and don't want to take the knee too far back. I would like your pelvis to still face forward. So this is kind of like when we were doing Parsvottanasana. The front leg has to do a little bit of external rotation and pull the hip back. This other leg is doing external rotation, but the hip has to come forward. So the pelvis, again, stays straight. Okay? Then right leg is still going to do like Dandasana, staff pose. If I can't catch my foot easily, I could always use a belt to be able to grab a hold of the foot. Okay? And what you want to feel here is that the back can be in that more neutral position again. So if I go ahead and pull with the belt, you can see lower back comes in. I can do a little forward tilt of the pelvis and then start to bring my torso forward. I want this to make sure that we are bending from the hip, in other words, and not from the back. So don't round the back here until the very end. So here we go again. I'm going to pull and lift the spine up. Right thigh is going to head back. I'm going to start to bring my torso more forward. Okay, I don't want to think I'm going down, but I think I want to go forward with my body, pulling the hip back, keeping that left hip forward, and bringing the trunk forward, little by little. Front of the body comes forward. At the very end, when there's no more forward progress to be had, I get to round all the way down. Release the head and neck. Take a couple easy breaths. To come out, flat back. Inhale and come up from the hip. We'll do side two. So again, left leg will be the straight leg, right leg is going to bend. Again, don't take this knee too far back because I want your hip bones to still face forward. The left leg is doing Dandasana. Again, I want to pull the outer side of the hip back like we did in Parsvottanasana when we were standing. The right leg is doing external rotation, but the hip needs to come forward. So in other words, don't let your pelvis open up. So keeping the hip forward as the thigh rotates out. Again, from this position, I can use the belt, or I could inhale and take the arms up and overhead. And then I want to again hinge forward at the hip. So again, not rounding the back till the very end. I'm going to keep pulling this left thigh back, bringing that right hip along with me, thinking about lengthening my torso forward. Again, when there's no more flat back available to me, I'm going to get to round all the way down, releasing the head and neck, couple easy breaths. When you want out, look forward, open up through the chest. We'll inhale and come back up through the hip, and then straighten the leg. Let's add in a little bit of a twist because it's a nice stretch for the back. So we'll bend the right leg, bringing the heel in line with the sit bone, best of your ability. Left leg is still going to be doing Dandasana. Okay, this is Virasana 3. So hug with the left arm, right arm's going to come back behind. I need to get as tall as I possibly can, lower back into the body, and then I'm going to rotate, abdomen first. Up through the ribs, and then maybe bringing the elbow to the outside of the knee, pushing the elbow into knee, just turn my upper back a little further. Next breath, inhale, lift up, and exhale, release. I'll change sides. So bending the left leg, again, heel is in line with the sit bone. Right leg stays firm. It's still part of the pose, even though I'm going to twist away from it. And then again, hug with the right arm, left arm's back behind. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, rotate. Again, working the way up the body, so through the ribs. Maybe using the elbow on the outside of the knee for a little more leverage to push the elbow into knee, knee into elbow to rotate. And then I'll release. Both legs go straight. Let's do one more seated forward bend here. This is Paschimottanasana. It's going to stretch the entire back of the body. So again, you're starting in Dandasana, legs firm. You could use that belt across both feet again if you like. As such, again, it's a nice way to work. Thinking again as if I pull with that belt, watch my back, flat back or concave spine. I'm going to keep pulling the thighs further back, and I'm going to start to come forward. Okay, those of you who can touch the feet easily, you might like to take the arms up to get more length out of the body. So same thing, thighs pull back, spine goes up, and bring the trunk forward. Again, trying to get as much movement as I can out of the pelvis first, so keeping a flat back. And as I pull the thighs back, watch again, chest forward, just like we did in the standing poses. And then I'm going to pull my body further down the legs, trying to lengthen my trunk forward, thighs move back. At the very end, I get to round all the way down. Release the head and neck. Couple easy breaths. When you want out, go back to the flat back position, and then inhale, come up from the hips. Now that we've stretched the back of the body, we're going to turn to our backs and do a little bridge pose and a reclined twist, and then shavasana. So you can lie down. No blankets underneath you for bridge pose. Legs are bent, feet about hip width apart. Walk the heels just closer to the buttocks, just a bit. And then I want to press the shoulders down and open across the chest, but I need to make sure that the abs are tight when I do so. Then I'll lift the hips, squeeze the buttocks. Don't turn your head, don't look at me, but go ahead and roll onto the tops of the shoulders. You can clasp your hands underneath, press down into the feet, press down to the upper arm, and lift the hips and chest. Spend a few easy breaths here, keeping abs, buttocks tight, buttocks towards the knees. Now, when you want out, release the arms first. Keep that little tuck of the tail as you roll the spine back down. And from here, we'll bring the legs in towards your chest. For a reclined twist, we'll keep the right knee in, stretch the left leg out. Hug the knee with your left arm. Right arm can go out to the side. And then you're going to bring the leg across your body into a little reclined twist. Let's inhale, bring the leg back up. Both knees will come back in towards your chest. And then, of course, the second side. So left knee stays in, right leg stretches out. Hug with the right arm as we bring the leg across the body. Just a nice, easy way to stretch out the lower back. Now we'll inhale and bring the leg back up. Hug both knees back in toward your chest one more time just to realign the body. And then we'll get ready for relaxation, shavasana. So if you'd like to grab a blanket for your head, a bolster for underneath your knees, please do so. So take some time here to adjust your body well as you lie down. Always look for symmetry, left side and right, making any minor adjustments necessary. And take a moment to roll your shoulders back, open across your chest. Let the arms release out towards your sides, palms are facing up. And make sure low back is comfortable. If you need more space, lift your hips, slide the buttocks towards your heels. And once you get your body all settled in, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, let your body relax down. And just see if you can let go of all muscular tension throughout your body. So make sure abdomen is soft around the hips, lower back. And allow your hips and your legs to be very heavy, no longer having to work. Now as the lower body releases, find softness all the way up along the spine. Letting all the back muscles rest, let go of your shoulders, let go of your arms. Feel here, head in line with the rest of the spine, so the neck muscles can soften, head heavy. Letting go of tension through the jaw, throat, tongue. Quiet around your eyes and your ears. And as you rest your physical body completely now, bring all of your awareness inward towards your breathing. Just easy inhalations and easy exhalations. Letting the body and the mind rest. Now let your next few breaths be deeper. You can bend your elbows, bring your hands toward your abdomen, taking some time to feel your breath in your body. Noticing if breath feels smoother, easier for you now. Taking this time to thank your body. Now move slowly, move gently. As you feel ready, bend your legs. If it feels good to pull the knees in one more time, do so. You can roll gently towards your side, rest on your side, a few breaths. And then use your arms to gently help yourself back up to a seated position. Now just take some time to sit, take the time to check in, see how you feel. Noticing the effects of your yoga practice. Noticing your overall posture. Maybe more stability through the pelvis, better lift and length up through the spine. Sense of space, quality of breath, quality of mind. Let's inhale. Take the arms up, Exhaling, hands down to the heart. Namaste. The goodness in me bows to the goodness in you.